Welcome to episode 2 of the Uncool Show. The Uncool Show. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man. Gonna have to edit that out.
Dylan?
I'm not editing that out. That's just too lazy for that one. Welcome to the Uncool Show. I'm Dylan Wilder, joined here by Randy Felker, and we got a big game to talk about. Randy, take it away. You got it.
Oh man. All right, I'll take the stage here, Dylan. Well, first off, I'm gonna set the stage here a little bit, everyone. So Dylan knows this. I had a feeling Saturday night so strongly that basically told Dylan and a lot of my other friends on Sunday afternoon that Jordan Love's gonna have a big game. And what do you know? A lot of people basically said, Randy, you're crazy, you're delusional, you're all the above. Didn't want to believe it. But all I really needed, besides my own faith in Jordan Love, was my boy Dylan, who was actually one of the few people who kind of went with it there. And
I fed into your delusion.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
It worked out.
And I have the receipts, by the way, too. And I may post some of them later, but we're going to wait for right now. But yeah, I'll just start by saying put some respect on Jordan Love's name. I think that's the first thing we got to, address here. I guess, Dylan, do you want to just start off right the bat with how Jordan Love, I guess, played before I get into it?
Well, I mean, it's not just this game. I mean, there's been like a 3-week run where Jordan has had pretty much his way with two convincing teams. The Chargers, not so much, but the Lions' victory was huge. This win clearly is huge. And, honestly, he just looks like he found a groove. He looks like he's found his confidence. And to me, it looks like not just him, but the whole team is buying in and really playing for each other in a way that I don't think they were early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think overall Jordan is he's proving the doubters wrong for sure.
Oh, that's an understatement.
And I don't know. I think mechanically the kid has a lot going on that you can't argue with.
Yeah.
His release is great. His timing is usually great if you give him protection.
Yep.
And now we're just seeing the fruition of probably a lot of hard work, man. I can only imagine the amount of film and the amount of practice, that's going on. And, he's doing it. Yeah. And he's doing it with a lot of pressure, and he's doing it in games where nobody thinks he has a shot.
I mean, the last two, man. So the first episode we filmed, almost a couple weeks ago now, we even said going into it, we'll see what happens with Detroit. And what had happened on Thanksgiving, Dylan, let's talk about that real quick, is that, I texted you, I think that day. I was like, happy Thanksgiving, brother. And
yep.
I was like, are you ready to witness a Thanksgiving miracle? And sure enough, that game just set the tone. And honestly, Dylan, building off that, I think that's what gave me the confidence. After I saw him play Detroit, I just had this feeling, that he was going to build off of that. They were at home, too. That was a huge factor. And honestly, I just, you've always told me in the past, too, as a Packer fan, I've had a lot of faith in different teams over the years, but there was just something about Love where you mentioned it, too, like his poise, his mental demeanor, the way he's just carrying himself and the people that rally around him.
Yep.
He's special, man. And I think that, month or so that he struggled, everyone was kind of quick, including myself. I'll apologize to Jordan Love a little bit. I had a little bit of self-doubt with him.
You were really quick to judge him.
I was trying to stand by him as long as I could, and then I just got to the point where, you know what, I'm a little concerned. And what did you say, Dylan? You're like, give him some time, give him some time.
Give him time. First-year starter. He's a young guy.
I don't want to jinx it, Dylan, but, geez, if we could get 3 in a row at this point, our friends are going to be punching the air first off. But I also want to say, too, again, I appreciate my friends because the stuff that they gave me before that game, Dylan, they were talking it up. And then it got real quiet during the game.
Been quiet for a couple days.
Days now.
A little bit of peace and quiet. You've earned it.
Yeah, it's a weekly struggle normally where I get so many just different. And honestly, I'll say too, I feed into it. I get it why people do it to me. But just know now, guys, I'm definitely feeding into that more now. I do have more control than what I've had in the past. At least I'd like to believe that now. So
Turning over a new leaf.
And now I'm just doing it for the amusement of my friends now when I give them my reaction. That's kind of where I'm at. So I'll still play into it. But Yeah, I don't know. Overall, though, Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns, 278 yards, something like that, 268. No picks.
Nope. Couple of unbelievable throws,
Oh,
especially down the stretch.
yeah.
But in the first quarter, we're getting contributions from Ben Sims.
Whoever that is.
I had to ask you because I had no idea. We're watching the
didn't
game.
know who it was either.
Watching the game with my brother Nate, and no idea who he was, but
Yeah.
came up big. Great start to the game.
Yep.
You and I have talked about privately and on the pod a little bit just about how we need to get off to a better start.
Mm-hmm.
And it was another week where we didn't come out looking anxious. We came out looking aggressive and confident.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that. When this team was struggling early in the year, it was an entire first half of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half, Jordan would turn it on. The other guys would turn it on.
Yep.
Now the whole team is on that page from kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been huge, getting that big start. And again, who knows if Ben Sims is going to be a contributor, but
Until Luke Musgrave maybe comes back.
yeah, I mean, good on him. And that was a big start to the game.
Yeah. And I want to touch on that too, Dylan, because, I mean, the vast difference in the last 3 games that we've won, I think almost every single one, I know Detroit and Kansas City for sure, we basically scored touchdown drives off our first several drives in both games,
Yeah.
and that's never happened all year. And that's how I think these guys are starting to kind of put this together, You were saying how we have such a young team, and all it just takes is reps. I think they're all starting to finally come together.
Yeah.
The game is slowing down for them. And it's kind of what Matt LaFleur and I think all of us as fans early on were hoping for in the very beginning. And we just kind of had those unrealistic expectations on the team, thinking, oh, everyone under the age of 25 is just going to figure it out week 1. And
Yeah.
here we go. And that's not realistic, nor is it hardly ever happened, I feel like. So.
And it's not realistic, but unfortunately, it's part of the media climate in professional sports. And that's been like the media,
yeah.
Talking point for the first couple of weeks of the year. He has no weapons. They're too young.
Yep.
They're too inexperienced. They're too selfish. But here you are. The team is at 500. We've got a real chance to run the table, and none of that can be said about this current iteration of the team. It didn't take very long for them to really become a team, and I think that's really what it was. Like, guys had to get to know each other.
Yep.
Guys have to build chemistry. And like you said, they're all under 25.
Every single one of them on offense, but Aaron Jones.
And we do have a lot of friends that have been giving Jordan a lot of garbage. And,
got receipts again, too.
But if any of these other big-name quarterbacks that our friends have been comparing him to had these type of weapons, oh, well, this guy only has that. Or, we have a young core,
Yep.
and we're balling out, and
Yep.
people don't like it. And you can say what you want, but men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. 22 touchdowns, tied with Patrick Mahomes, 10 interceptions, tied with Patrick Mahomes, and he just took him down on Sunday Night Football in front of the entire world.
Yep.
And nobody has anything to say to you because what can you say? The numbers are what they are, and the rest of our schedule is looking real peachy.
Yep.
And people are afraid. That's why the media didn't want to cover anything after that game either. You and I noticed right after that Thursday Night Football game.
About us at all.
Van Pelt and Sports Center. No, let's just skip over that game.
Yep.
They don't want to talk about a team that they know is getting hot and they know can run the table. Maybe that's my little conspiracy theory, but I don't think the media wants to give us our due. And until we do make a little run and hopefully make a playoff run, they're not going to have anything positive to say.
Yep.
It is what it is.
And I think it's very important that even though we have 5 very winnable games, like everyone's saying, and now that the young kids, as you know, are getting all this praise, it's a trap sometimes too. So it's very important that Jordan and the young guys, defensively and offensively, and I think that's Matt LaFleur's job, is to really say, all right, guys, we have some success now, we have some momentum, but keep it going, all gas, no break. Don't take the foot off the pedal now. Like, don't underestimate even the Giants this Monday night coming up. Like,
100%.
That's a team that, again, can be very dangerous. And as you know, I want to touch on this, is I think the one flaw still in our game, as a team is our run defense, as you know. I think Isaiah Pacheco rushed, I saw, for like 120 yards.
I was literally just going to bring up Pacheco.
Yeah, that was the one really big flaw. Yeah.
I think other than that, defensively, we played a pretty good game, and we got the stops when we needed to.
Yeah.
We got a lot of key 3-and-outs late in that game.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the run defense is an issue.
I don't know how we're gonna fix that, honestly.
It might just be something that is a weakness for the rest of the year. Every team has them.
Yeah. And just as you know, too, with the Giants, Saquon Barkley is one of the few weapons on that team, and you best believe they're gonna be giving him that ball. So, Joe, be prepared, please. I think at this point we need to understand that we're great in the pass game because we have great pass rushers. Rashawn Gary tearing it up. Preston Smith tearing it up. Hercules, Luke Van Ness tearing it up. We have good linebackers. Our safeties are starting to get healthy again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get Jair. But the big thing is they're all kind of still soft, and I think the only way we can do that is if we prevent them from getting short yardage early downs. You know what I'm saying? Where if they start at 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, it's going to be very tough for our defense to, slow down the offense at that point. They need to put them behind, on 3rd and long so that our pass rush can get after the young quarterback, Danny DeVito, I want to say his name is. So
yeah.
That's very key.
Is it Tommy DeVito or Danny? Danny DeVito, the dude from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Never mind. It's Tommy. It's Tommy.
I hope we do play Danny DeVito.
Oh man, clip that, by the way.
Oh my gosh. If we play Frank from It's Always Sunny, dude, I'm in, man.
I'd actually be sold too. That'd be
great.
Fun.
But no, yeah. But like you can't take them for granted, like you said. They're a young team too. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna pick them to be the loser of that game, kind of like they picked us to be the loser of the Kansas City game. So we have to, play them like they're Kansas City. Play them like they're a champ, and play them like they're a respectable team, because they are.
Yep.
Any team can win a game.
Oh, especially in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're the Carolina Panthers even right now. I mean, that one might be a little bit of a stretch, but just about every other NFL team right now can win a game. And
oh yeah.
So,
well, I wanted to touch really quickly on Christian Watson. He had a great game.
Boy.
He had a great game. But another injury at the end of that game, and he'll be missing this week from what you've told me. Hopefully 1 week will
injured
be it.
Himself for this time too. I don't know again how.
I don't know if he injured himself.
Well,
he hurt his hamstring while running. I don't know if he took a hammer to his own hamstring.
Non-contact, but you know what I'm saying. It's unlucky, but
what did you think of his performance?
Oh, I mean, he was the best player by far on our team, and that's what gives me some concern still, Dylan, a little bit, is depending on how long he's going to be out. I think there's a direct correlation, too, with Watson being back. If you've noticed the last couple of games, I think he came back even in San Diego or the Rams. I'd have to double check, but ever since he's been back.
Los Angeles,
yeah.
No longer the San Diego
Thank you, Dylan.
Chargers. I wish, dude.
Yeah.
R.I.P., man.
But what I was going to say with that is that he really stretches the field. When he's not on the field, it puts so much more pressure on all the other receivers. But I think when he's on the field, he opens it up for just about everyone else.
No, I agree.
And that's why I'm hoping that he'll be back in time in the next couple weeks. I think we can go without him for a little bit, but we're going to need him. And, I mean, as you clearly saw, he had 2 touchdowns this game, too. So, fingers crossed.
I mean, health is always paramount, and again, we've been pretty much half the year without Jones,
our best playmaker at this point. Yep.
And I think we have to, give Jordan some credit there too.
Yep.
A first-year starter missing his main target essentially for most of the year, both in Watson and Jones out of the backfield. I mean, your 2 biggest targets for most of the year are either in the lineup, completely out of the lineup, or completely limited in what they can do.
So go cook, Jordan.
If we can get healthy at the right moment, the sky really is the limit, especially if our defense continues to make incremental growth each week, and I feel like we have.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants to play us at this point. We're the most, I think, dangerous team in football right now, especially after this week. Again, no one wants to talk about us too much, but everyone knows deep down, no one wants to play us in the playoffs at this point, especially if Jordan Love has confidence, especially if our defense keeps playing the way it is, if our young playmakers get healthy, especially if Jones comes back. Oh man, could you imagine, Dylan, how that game would have went if we had healthy Aaron Jones too on top of that? Oof.
And to that note, when Jones comes back, that's just like you said, pressure off of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also like a vocal leader out there. Every time I see Jones, both on and off the field, he's chatting it up. He's chatting it up with the team, with the coaches, with the refs. Like he's a very social guy and he's a very vocal leader. And I feel like the guys really are appreciative of him and they are looking forward to him getting back. But it's one of those things where football, if you rush him back and he gets hurt again, that could be it. Or it could turn into a Bakhtiari situation. And so prayers up for Jones, and hopefully he continues to get right. But even without him, I think we're also seeing AJ Dillon is getting back to like what he was. His yards per carry are back up to like 3.5. Which is what you need from your backup running back. And he's starting to run with a little more confidence. He's starting to truck people over again, starting to move bodies again.
December football, baby.
Yep. So that's been big too. He played great. He didn't have any touchdowns in that game.
Like 70 yards.
70 something. Yeah. He's starting to do what we need him to do as a role player too.
Yeah.
And our boy Anders Carlson too. Some clutch kicking, man. Every time I see a clutch kick, I'm impressed. I don't care who it is. I don't care how long you've been in the league. Balls of steel, man.
He's no Mason Crosby, but, he's young.
No.
Did you see, by the way, too, Dylan? Mason Crosby's on the Rams now. They just signed him, just
really?
The other day.
Oh, good for him.
But, yeah, he's back in the league again, so.
Keep getting them checks, Mason.
Yeah, keep getting those checks, Mason.
Get paid,
we
man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
One of the best Packers kickers of all time, and probably will be.
Oh,
but,
yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
That won't change for a long time, if ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, keep getting paid. Good for him.
It's the best job in the NFL.
I didn't hear that. That's super cool. I'm very happy for him.
Can you imagine, Dylan? I would love to be an NFL punter or kicker.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
It's the best job in the world.
Until you take that one tackle that breaks you in half.
Yep.
But what? Why do you think? Not just our friends and colleagues and whatever. Why do you think the narrative surrounding Love has been understated lately? We touched on it earlier, but I feel very to me it's interesting that people don't want to give him flowers. Is it because he's young? Is it because he's a Packer and Packers are a hated franchise? Is it, you can say what you want, but he's not getting lucky throwing 22 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's a talented dude. He's showing that, but he's still not getting the credit he deserves. And it doesn't upset me, but it intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very intriguing that people can't be objective and just say that the kid had a good game or a good 3-game stretch. I saw something on, I believe it was some ESPN show, maybe First Take, I couldn't tell you now. Mm-hmm. But other than Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy, in the last 3 weeks, no quarterback has played better by yards, by completion percentage, by rating.
Yep.
Other than Brock and Dak,
he's been first, and
he's been doing great. Yeah. And still, the narrative has been, we'll wait and see. Even after this victory that we just got.
Yeah.
We'll give it another week. I don't know. I'm not saying you need to anoint him the next Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying you need to anoint him the next Brett Favre. But you can't even just have a segment on your TV show that he had a good game. It's crazy to me. And that doesn't just extend to football or our friend group, but he's playing well. And sports media is supposed to cover that.
Yeah.
Objectively. You don't just skip it because, I don't know, man.
Yeah, how I'll answer that, Dylan. Well, first off, media is a whole nother story, but I'll touch on first our personal friends and people that have been doubting Love. I think there's a bias there, obviously. A lot of them are Bears fans, and they don't want to see 3 Hall of Famers, in a row. So I think they're not wanting to believe it at the same time, a little bit. I think they're just hoping that please, dear Lord, don't, let the Packers have a third Hall of Fame quarterback and put us through another 10 to 15 years of depression. Like, I get it. But I'll just say, Dylan, I think when you are always being compared to a Brett Favre, or in this case, an Aaron Rodgers, it's an incredibly tall bar. And as much as Jordan Love has been balling out, as you know, everyone's still subconsciously, again, comparing him to Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's what the media is kind of honestly doing too, in my opinion. I think they're just waiting and seeing. They don't want to crown him. I'll even say Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee said this week, he said, I'm not surprised at all that Jordan Love is balling out and playing well.
Yeah, I saw that.
But he also said we need to stop crowning him because it's just putting extra pressure on him. Let him enjoy his rookie season. And I agree. Like, as a first-year starter, just let him finish it out. Stop trying to say, and that's why I'm a little frustrated too with Packers fans right now too. They're saying, oh, we have him. Even on myself, I'm like, he's arrived. But at the same time, I got to remember, things change week to week in the NFL. And this narrative could whole change really quickly in the next week or two if Jordan Love has another, thunker or something. So I'm just going to say, Dylan, I think the media wants to wait and see because I think they're probably not Packers fans compared to other teams as we know. They kind of have some biases, with other teams as we know, I think. But I think everyone's just taking that approach of, okay, let's see how he finishes out the season. Let's see how, many games they win. Let's see what seed they get in the playoffs, if they get into the playoffs. And, honestly, that's fair. And I'm okay with that because, honestly, Dylan, I'm a little nervous now that we're kind of not flying under the radar anymore. A lot of people are aware of us. And you best believe the Giants have probably been hearing about us all week and are preparing extra hard now, I think, to try and prove something. So, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how the team responds now with some success. And as you know, with young players, the whole social media factor, I think I touched on in the first episode, you'd be kidding yourself if some of those players are not seeing how, great they are. I mean, we saw Jordan Love's, post, and I think he's definitely getting some swagger, which is good. But I just hope he stays, humble. He stays
grounded in that confidence.
And just keeps doing what he's doing. Because the minute you let that start to get to your head, that's a huge trap for any athlete. And we've seen it over the years with different players that have had some success, and then they start to come down to reality because either they're just not practicing as hard, maybe they're letting it get to their head. And I just want to see Jordan continue to do like what you said he does. He's a team leader. He's grounded, most mentally poised player I've ever seen. I mean, even compared to Aaron Rodgers, even when his teammates mess up, it's almost like he gets it because he's young too. So
I've never.
It's not like the old man and the young kids like Aaron Rodgers. Who's
never
like
seen him lose
all the
it.
time.
Never seen him lose it.
Yeah,
which is cool and it is very admirable. But I don't think that's something we have to worry about. I mean, I think LaFleur is doing a really good job with this group. I think he's keeping them engaged, keeping them not humble, but keeping them hungry. Hungry to prove that they're worthy of running the table a little bit.
Yep.
I think LaFleur is going to keep everybody doing and mentally approaching the game the way they need to be.
We owe him an apology too, or at least I never really doubted LaFleur, but a lot of fans owe him an apology too. Because a lot of people have been wanting him, Brian Gutekunst out, which by the way, I've even told you, Dylan, I've been kind of unsure of him, but maybe he knew something we didn't know.
Now you're back on board?
I'm kind of at this point. I think, between all his other draft picks, he got Dontavian Wicks this year. He got, obviously, Christian Watson and Dobbs last year. Just a plethora of different players in the last couple of years, and he's been hitting, dude.
Well, I mean, it goes to show that winning really solves everything because
it is
early in the year you weren't saying anything like that, dude.
And that's just
not at all.
That's just the bitterness in me of
you wanted his head on a stake like the Black Plague era days,
I was guilty of that. Yeah,
gotta string him up, dude.
He pushed out Aaron Rodgers, our Hall of Famer, and it's. I owe you an apology, Brian Gutekunst. I'm sorry. Hopefully you don't let that get to your head too. Hopefully you keep doing what you need to do.
Brian, we know you'll never see this, but Randy, but Randy is sorry.
Hey Brian, we know you're running a sports franchise, but Randy's really sorry, dude.
Yeah, you should care, dude.
He is very sorry. Sincerely, the Uncool Show. What?
We're gonna clip that too.
Yeah, and then we'll send it to him.
Oh, we'll send it to the Packers.
I have him on Twitter. I mean, X, formerly known as Twitter.
It's still Twitter. Let's not kid ourselves.
But where do you think the absence of Watson leaves us offensively this week? Where do you think we go? Because Dobbs had a quiet game.
Crazy catch
other than that,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that
throw by
that
the way.
was a Brett like that. We've seen a lot of like Aaron Rodgers moments from him. That was Brett Favre.
Yeah,
like, I feel like Jordan like closed his eyes and just you know what, God, I'm gonna throw it.
Yeah,
and it worked out. That was
screaming,
crazy,
dude, with your brother.
That was crazy.
It was 4th and 1, and literally all of us are just like, "What are you doing?" And you saw my reaction, Dylan. I'm like, and then when he caught it, we're all like, just freaking out in our living room.
Wild play call. Another I'll say that about LaFleur. His play calling is continuing to get better.
Yeah.
After a few week stretch where we were just every other play call, we were just like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're running it again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's really adapted too.
He's been more aggressive,
he's been very aggressive, and he's been like being creative with a lot of the play calls.
That's what he's good at doing, man.
A lot of reverses, a lot of weird screens, a lot of cool stuff.
He's a great schemer. He's one of the best schemers in the NFL, honestly, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because when you see him, when he's playing aggressive and calling plays, like he even admitted, Dylan, I think we were talking about this, how he said early in the year he was being really conservative because he didn't trust Jordan Love maybe as much yet. But now he's like, all bets are off. Like, playbook's open. You want to... I mean, in the Detroit game, he even said to Jordan, he's like, are you sure you want to run that deep ball in the first play?
Yep.
He's like, let's run it, coach. And look what happened. I mean, and that was to Watson, go figure, too. So, yeah, I mean, but to answer your question, Dylan, back to what are we going to need to do without Watson, I think, who did have a quiet game out of all the receivers, who's had a great year, I think he's still been leading our team, is Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed needs to get heavily involved this week. Dontavian Wicks and Dobbs, like all three of those guys, I think are going to have to carry the load a little bit.
Yeah.
And scheming wise, LaFleur is going to have to give Jordan Love, some easy rhythm throws again, because I think like a lot of quarterbacks, Jordan has confidence now, but you need to give him confidence early in the game. I mean, look at what it's done. If he has that struggling, first quarter, yeah, he can still pick it up, but why not just give him, those throws to just get him going early, let him cook,
the gimmies.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like in basketball, like a coach will tell you, get to the line, and have some free throws or get a couple of layups or a dunk.
Yep.
And that's in the NBA. That's how a lot of them are coached.
100%.
You get the easy ones.
Yep.
And then mentally everything kind of unlocks a little bit, and we're definitely seeing that. I don't know, man. I think it's time to get a Jordan Love jersey. I think all you need is love, and love is here. Love is in the building. It might be time to start repping.
I need to start on my fantasy team too the rest of this year. When I told you that, Dylan, I started him over Jalen Hurts. Over Jalen Hurts. That's how much faith I had in him, because I knew if I would have benched him, Dylan, I was just being very, superstitious there. I was like, what? I got to go all in with him. I got to show how much faith I have in him.
Gotta have faith.
I poured the gasoline with all my friends and different people, all this stuff, and I was ready to take it if he sucked. But no, he delivered, and at this point now, I'm gonna roll with him the rest of the way. I don't think I'm gonna play Jalen Hurts at all.
Good for you, bud.
Into the playoffs.
Good for you, bud.
That's how much faith I have in Jordan Love now.
Oh, I like that, man.
But yeah, building off that quick though too, with what we were saying, outside of getting him going early, I think obviously we got to establish the run again. AJ Dillon, maybe Aaron Jones will be back. I'd love to see it, but
allegedly,
Jair, we'd like to see back too. But yeah, offensively, just scheme it up. Get Jordan going early. If you can't run the ball, then like you said, mix it up with some reverses, some pre-snap motion. I think is gonna be very key too. I talked about this with my cousin, and he kind of told me how the Chiefs didn't really fall for a lot of our pre-snap motion. They're very diligent, but the Giants are a type of defense that I looked into where over this course of this year, a lot of teams have been running the pre-snap motion, and it's working tremendously.
Well,
so I think
it's great that you bring that up. I was just going to try to segue into the Giants defense, because I haven't watched a Giant game all year, I don't think. I mean,
I haven't either. I just looked it up earlier.
Yeah, like I've seen some highlights, but what can you tell me about their defense, and what can you tell our viewership about the defense?
They're a defense that you can't sleep on. If you remember the one guy, Jihad Ward, I think his name is. He's the one that hurt Aaron Rodgers last year. He's the one who was talking smack to Aaron Rodgers this year.
Yep.
very big burly guy, and he could definitely hurt Jordan Love if he takes free shots. So I think we got to scheme for him. I think he's one of their best pass rushers still. Secondary wise, from what I've seen statistically, they've held quarterbacks, I think I saw under a 90 quarterback rating, but their front seven outside of that guy is pretty suspect. So I think early on, like I said, we got to establish the run, get them kind of on their heels, and that's when you can open up the play action for Love, because that's where their secondary is not great, but they're disciplined, if that makes sense. So they're not going to be out of position too often like other defenses. Yeah. So again, we cannot underestimate them, and we got to just early on, I think pound it inside with the run, and then that'll open up the play action pass, because as you know, with Jordan, I think he's at his best like a lot of quarterbacks when he has that play action working for him, and then you can take those deep shots. Yep. So that's just my opinion. I think that's what we'll have to do. We'll see if they execute it. But, yeah. What about you? What are you thinking as far as game plan? Would you agree with a lot of that? Or is there anything else that you're thinking that we could, kind of attack them with, as far as personnel or even?
Well, I mean, just in terms of like a pass rush, like with Danny DeVito back there, you got to get to him, because, I think it's like his third game as a starter, maybe third or fourth. I mean, you got to put pressure on him.
No, 100%.
I feel for the kid. I've actually seen a lot on social media about him and about this opportunity of his.
Oh.
And I'm really pulling for him, just not this week.
It's Tommy DeVito.
No, it's Danny. It's gonna be Danny DeVito, dude. He's Danny.
Maybe he'll see this one day too, and he's like, "Oh, they got my name wrong."
You can apologize to Danny.
To him, yeah. If he actually becomes someone in the NFL, I'll apologize to him for sure.
Oh, he already is somebody, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's a starter, so.
But no, I mean, we just need to put pressure on him. I mean, we all know that Saquon Barkley is a specimen, and he's going to do whatever he wants to our defense to a degree. He's going to run all over us. He's probably going to embarrass a couple of our players.
He's going to have over 100 yards.
But you let him do that, right? To a degree.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're going to get with him. He's a high level talent. But if you don't let them get any type of a pass game going, if you can defensively make an impact there, I mean, Saquon's not going to win that game by himself. And I don't know much about their receiving core, but I do know that Tommy DeVito, he's not taking a lot of deep shots as of now.
They're being very conservative, a lot of screen passes. I want to say one of the other main receivers is, what's his name? I'm blanking on it right now, but yeah, they have a couple of, again, decent receivers if you want to look that up quick, Dylan, but a couple of them I know are either a mixture of first to second year players. Derek Slayton, I want to say it is. Slayton, I know, is one of the main guys. He's probably their number one, if I had to say. And then tight ends, they just have a couple of very just no-name tight ends that, again, I can't name right now because they're just not.
Yeah, they have Darius Slayton, Darren Waller.
Darren Waller, never mind.
He's actually their second.
I totally forgot
other
about
than that, not anybody I could really name. They still have Sterling Shepard. Wow.
Who's a sleeper sometimes.
Yeah, he's not really playing a whole lot this year, but he's still on the team. But yeah, I mean, again, we're the heavy favorite. Yeah. But like you said, that can bite you, and we need to be careful with that. And hopefully, we're prepping hard and getting ready for another fun week, dude. I mean,
stay healthy, please, because we need to stay healthy in this run as much as possible.
That would be nice.
Please.
That would be nice.
Because we always seem to be at, we saw the injury report a week or two ago, Dylan, and it was like just a mile long.
Yeah, but buddy, you control what you can control. You can't control that.
I know.
You prep for what you can prep for, and you game plan for health, but that changes every play, every drive.
Yeah.
No matter what. But I agree. Hopefully we do stay healthy, and hopefully we take it as a challenge, really, because every game should be a playoff game.
It is. I mean, from here on out.
We need to have that mentality, and it needs to be that mentality from top to bottom. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't really have much else to bring to the Giants discussion. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to leave the people with before signing off? I think
I mean,
Randy's being very kind to you people.
'Cause I love you all.
Y'all who been talking down on his name for quite some time. But yeah, Randy's the bigger person. But I'm not. And y'all leave my boy alone.
I'll just say, Dylan, like you said, yeah, I'm trying to, learn from my past mistakes and past years. There was even a scenario that my friends have a recording even of something when we lost to the Lions, not last year. Or yeah, it was last year. Yeah, the last game this season, and just
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
they ticked me off so much,
Yeah.
Dylan, to the point where I was with my cousin and I sent a voice recording to several different group chats because I was so annoyed. Not even after a minute of the game was over, Dylan, freezing my butt off, just my phone going just like the whole time, and I was getting so angry just feeling it in my pocket. And when I finally saw everything, and it was, and I get
mental
it.
breakdown.
And I get it, they bait me. I set myself up again, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna keep doing that, guys. I'm letting you know. I'm gonna be a good sport because I'm gonna make it entertaining, just like I know you guys appreciate it. But I will say this: you guys do owe Jordan Love an apology because he is a good quarterback. He's better than Justin Fields. I'll say this: some of my good friends will disagree with me. I'll even give actually a special shout out again to Andy because he's one of the very different Chicago fans, and you've met him again, Dylan, where he's not the typical meathead, I'll say, where he has
typical meathead.
He has very good takes.
All the rest of you are meatheads. So.
No.
Andy, you a real one. The rest of y'all,
Andy is a real one.
the rest of y'all meatheads.
No, but he knows what he's talking about. He still kind of is on that kind of bias a little bit, I think, where he's trying to look at it objectively, and I get it. He wants to see more of Jordan Love, and he still thinks Fields is better. And hey, to each their own. Maybe he is. But I will say, though, for the rest of you, you guys need to put some respect on Jordan Love's name. You need to put some respect on the Packers because we're about to, fingers crossed, own y'all again for another 10 years, hopefully. But I won't speak too soon. I'm just saying that's a hope. And, yeah, keep up because I'm going to keep it interesting, guys. And I'm not going to give up my role of giving you guys entertainment as the one lone Wisconsin sports fan in a lot of our friend groups. So, yeah, that's what I'll say, Dylan. And I appreciate all the support and love still, though, too.
And I'll say this, that Justin Fields is 7-26 as a starter, and Jordan Love is 6-7 as a starter. And after this next week, he'll be 7-7 as a starter.
Fingers crossed.
So he will have just as many wins as Justin Fields with 26 less. Wait. Yeah. With 19 less losses, which men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Yeah.
He's not good. I'm sorry.
I'll say he has a chance, and I will say this.
No, that was just me trying to trigger people.
I know you. But I'll say this, too, to all my Bears friends fans. I think you guys will be tweaking if you move on from Fields. You guys need to keep him next year, give him another weapon, give him some offensive line help, give him some good coaching, for gosh sakes.
Oh, no, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's definitely got talent.
But everyone that's saying they need to move
Got a lot
on
of
from
talent.
Fields, even the media, they're tweaking. And I will say Fields is still a very talented quarterback, probably the most talented quarterback that the Bears have ever had in a long time, more than Jay Cutler.
Oh, yeah, he's got a lot of raw
So they
talent.
shouldn't start over again. They should.
I think part of what's really damaging about the media's coverage of the NFL is putting it all on the quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that the Bears need a lot more than just Justin Fields to throw for 5,000 yards. He is not the number one problem in Chicago, And I do agree. You give the kid a little more help and
Coaching, please.
yeah.
That's what he needs the most of.
And then we can, we can take a look at him. But yeah, I have seen, we've got to move on from him, and they should do this, they should do that. I mean, if Justin wants to leave, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But you got to give the kid a shot. You got to give the kid some pieces to play with.
Yeah. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Penix, they're not going to save the Bears, and it's starting all over again. And there's no chance that they're for sure going to be better than Fields is. They got to basically start from scratch. So roll with what you have. He has a couple of years under his belt. Yep. He's been playing well when he's been healthy for the most part this year. And most of y'all don't want to agree with that too. But, yeah. But I don't even know why we're talking about the Bears. I'll just say, though, Dylan, overall with the Packers, I'm excited. I think we will make the playoffs. We're going to keep talking about it. and let's just see what happens. And again, we appreciate everyone watching. We're going to keep getting better at this as we move forward. I love and appreciate my boy Dylan here because, again, he's been the guy that's really been helping a lot on a lot of this technical stuff. And I'm having a blast doing this. And
yeah, it's been fun, man.
Yeah, and overall, guys, we really do appreciate you guys watching. We know it's obviously not perfect yet, but we're going to get there. This is episode 2. And
it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And for you foot fetishists out there.
Oh, yeah, please.
I'm wearing shoes today.
You like them?
Usually when I watch YouTube content or content on any platform, I focus on the quality of the content. I don't look at feet and start making weird comments and doing weird things to myself. So, hey, everybody's different.
It's that visual aspect, Dylan.
Some people like feet. Some people like feet.
Some people might like.
And God bless them. God bless them.
You have some nice feet, I'm sure, maybe. So you never know.
Oh yeah, if y'all are lucky, I'll take these puppies out sometime. But whew, y'all gotta behave first. All right, that's the end of that one.
Uncool Show episode 2. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all. God bless.